There it
I
is.
am not afraid.
We is
ladies
not
and
afraid.
gentlemen. We's gonna
We's not
take
afraid?
a stand. We's making contact with
Oh.
and more of our database.
Yeah.
Slacking off. Yeah, we did some of that too. So let's talk about it because
Been there,
it's part
done
of
that.
what happens to everybody. So let's do this. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
Yeah, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
And
What
when I
is
say
it?
I'm gonna do something, I don't give a damn what you think.
Don't give a
Doing this for
damn.
me.
That's right.
All right. So sometimes music does it for me. Sometimes it's inspirational speeches. Sometimes it's talking to somebody else. Sometimes it's listening to a podcast. But all of those things for me are some of the tools that I use to get me out of a funk, right?
Okay.
Like there comes a time in an entrepreneur's life where, and this was best explained to me by my wife. So we're having a heart to heart, and she was expressing to me how I go on these ups and downs in my own emotional connection with a lot of things, right? The way I interact with family, or the way I interact on the show, or whatever it is. But basically, she said, you had a really big success at Billie Jean,
Mhm.
and it opened doors to a new level that you are not comfortable with, or for whatever reason, maybe you got a big shot of dopamine, serotonin, whatever, all the little brain things that happen in your head.
Mhm.
And then you hit this downturn. And I think that downturn has to do with maybe you're afraid of what that next level is. Maybe you're worried about if you're good enough. Maybe you, what up, Joe? Business
What up,
Bros? Joe? Right? Maybe you're, for whatever reason, like there's something happens that you, instead of going to that top part and then continuing to move forward, you dip down before you come back up.
Mhm.
Right. And that was one of those things where I'm like, dude, I've been going through that myself. Like I've been thinking about, and it's funny because the guests that we've had on the show lined up that way too, talking about imposter syndrome and, being overwhelmed and developing systems to put in place. They all kind of stem from that same thought process of, what am I doing this for? Am I working too hard? Do I even want to be working? And then we top that off with the holiday season, and slacking off happens.
Yep.
Like it is almost inevitable that when November rolls around, you hear somebody say something like what we were pitching today when we were coming up with comments. Can you believe it's November already?
Can you believe it?
Yeah, it comes around at the same time every year. Like, yeah, I know it's November. It's the one that follows October, right? But it's funny because we all say that, but the truth of the matter is, we have this imaginary timeline in our mind, where we set sales goals, or we set relationship goals, or we set fitness goals. And we're nearing that end point. And so, sometimes you're looking back and you're like, I hit my goal. Yeah, cool. I get to slack off. I didn't hit my goal. You know what? It's the holidays anyways. I'm just going to stop right here. And you start to slack off. Or you think you should keep going and you're going to push through everything, but you got obligations to family, whatever. And we begin to slack off. So rather than looking at it as a bad thing, I was figuring we'd have a conversation on, like, what is our purpose in life? Like, what are we doing? Right? I mean, what are we trying to accomplish here? Because we've been kind of talking about this, you and I, for a good week and a half, 2 weeks, and we've come to that other conclusion of, you have to work, you have to do something. Doing nothing sounds great until you start doing nothing too long.
Yeah, I mean, different people are going. It's going to vary for each individual. I think that there are a lot of people out there that can absolutely do nothing and be perfectly happy with doing nothing. There are plenty of people that could just be perfectly happy being beach bums and not having a purpose and just enjoying life. I think that that is possible and valid and cool. You do you if you're able to do that,
Look at
right?
Joe. He who
Absolutely
serves,
true.
he who wishes to be great must serve the many. That is absolutely true.
Absolutely true.
Must
So
serve the many, right?
I think the
That
vast
is work.
majority, though, I think the vast majority of people, we should get on a call. I can help you. Cool. We should chat with the business bro. Go to businessbros.biz and schedule a time.
Joe's always helping me.
Hell yeah, Joe's awesome. But what was I saying? What was I saying? I was talking about
Sorry, we were talking about the work, about making sure you have purpose in your work.
About the work. Okay. So a lot of people that can just be beach bums and do nothing, but the vast majority of us do actually want to do something productive. There is like an innate human need to create, right? And I think most people want to create in some way, shape, or form, right? Most people want to do something. They want to have a fulfilling life. They want to have a life that has meaning and value and purpose and all of these things. And I think a lot of people like think that when they get to a certain point and they could just stop working and like that solves everything. But when the work stops and you're a person who is accustomed to working, like there's going to be some part of you that wants to continue to create. There's going to be some part of you that wants to continue to do something. So the work never really stops, right? Because
Yeah.
it's part of our innate nature. It's part of just what we want to do. We want to work. We want to create. So the trick is to find a way to do things that are meaningful work, right?
This is a, I think, perfect answer right here. What Joe's saying, meaningful work, right? Money is a me thing. Fulfillment is a we thing. Clients are better off because you made an impact.
Boom.
Right? And that's really what it comes down to. I think what Joe's talking about, and I think the way you're describing it is, when I talk to people who've always leveled up, or when you listen to podcasts of people who have made a level of success that we look up to, or you look at professional speakers, or you look at professional athletes, they all reach a level, and yet they are still competitive, right? They are still trying to improve at no matter what level you're looking at them at, right?
Right.
And depending on where you are also past certain levels of, I mean, even if something as simple as life, being an adult, you've experienced years of being a child. So you have experience in something. Like you've been working through something. There's always something to level up on. And I think that's the thing that is difficult for people, is that it's not the work. It's that when you reach a level, there's always another spot to go to. There's always something else within reach. What is that thing that's within reach? And okay, so let me ask you this though. Let's say you're leveling up. You went through a 7-year phase of continuously leveling up your systems, your processes for your insurance agency, right? 7 years of, oops, that didn't work. Let's fix that. Oops, that didn't work. Let's fix that. Oops, that, like, I mean, grinding it out where your schedule is packed and you were very productive. The other side of that is burnout, right? So the question is going to be, where do we find that happy medium in the middle, right? Where do we find that idea of, I do want to work hard at my specific task? This is where we get niched down, right? And we really focus in on being good at one thing, and then get rid of some of those other things, right? Like, you're now coming back into your game, and you're really narrowing in on, how much of my time is this going to cost? Talk to me about like that feeling.
How much of my time this is going to cost? I mean, yeah.
Like, what's my time commitment to this thing? Like, what am I committing myself to?
So that's the trick, right? That's the rub. Getting back to that idea of work is meant to be fulfilling.
Every level has a new devil.
Every level has a new devil. That's funny. When work is fulfilling, then it's less about the time commitment, right? It's less about being afraid of the time commitment. Like, in my life, I am meant to do some kind of work, right? Like, most of us are meant to do some kind of work. Sometimes we're, you know, bagging groceries or flipping burgers or whatever, right? Other
Building
times we're
houses, solving
building
world peace,
houses. And
representing
other times,
communities. Yeah.
right, right. There's always work. Like there's work at every level. I think for me right now, the biggest struggle is making sure that the work that I'm doing is fulfilling to me. If I was someone who was, I don't know, flipping burgers, right? I don't know that that can necessarily find um I
Fulfillment
would
for
have to
you.
find no. I would have to redefine what fulfillment means, right? Like fulfillment in that sense is like doing something for my family, or for myself or whatever. Like there is a reason why I'm doing this, like going to work to learn, right? You go work at the burger place and you learn about the supply chains that lead up to it, and you use this knowledge to, excel at something else later on. Like there's always a way that you can look at whatever situation and there's always a way that I can look at the situation that I'm in to make it fulfilling. It's just like when I was in the Navy, right? I always said that whatever I get out of the Navy is what I want to get out of the Navy, what I commit to getting out of the Navy, because it taught me so much. There was a lot of lessons that I wouldn't have learned without it. But if I had stayed of the mentality, of my first year and a half or 2 years or whatever, where I was just like angry and trying to buck the system, like forget all that. I wasn't ever going to get anywhere. But if I learned to make the work fulfilling for myself, then it's less about whatever my time commitment is to it and more about how much satisfaction I'm getting from it.
So if I'm hearing you, it's a lot about that process, right? The journey that we're on, not really the end game of what's going on, right? So,
Yeah, dude, I was totally thinking that, like, all I have is today. I can freak out and worry. I was telling you earlier, like, I was like, oh shit, I'm feeling that stress, right? Like that anxiety that I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. I'm afraid of, what the next years are going to look like, and do I like I can freak out really easily. But fact is, all I got is today.
dude, that's, I think, a perfect time. Like when you're feeling like that, that's probably a perfect time to sit down and gratitude journal, right?
Yeah.
Because you're overwhelming yourself with a future that may or may not happen. Right. No matter what you're thinking, you might have the perfect plan and then God laughs at your plan, right? I heard that in a country song, by the way.
Of course.
But yeah, so you have a plan and then it gets twisted, it gets turned. All of a sudden you find out that you're a grandpa, right? Like that was crazy stuff, right? But all those things where there's a problem, there's an opportunity, right? So what's holding you back, that stress, that anxiety that you're feeling, you're spending so much time and energy on a future that may not exist when the only thing that you do have control over is right now. Like, why don't I stress out? There's a lot of teachers that are on campus and it's towards the end of the year and it's getting close to finals and they're stressing out. Like, I only stress out about the things I can control. Like if I can control something, that's what I'm going to focus my attention on.
Right.
If I cannot control that thing, I mean, I can plan for it. I can think about it, but I can't let it control me because there's nothing I can do about the future that doing today won't make a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what I do today is the only way that I'm going to ensure any kind of future.
That's it. All I can control is what I can do today. I can't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen in a week or what's going to happen next month or next year and the next decade. All I can do is today. And what I do today is going to set me up for tomorrow. But all I can do is what I can do today.
It's our mind, dude. Our mind is such a powerful thing that it will make you feel good about one thing and guilty about another. So today is about slacking off, like what's your excuse? So we're looking at it all from one perspective on let's get your ass back on the horse, right? Yeah, you fell down, you scraped your knees, you got punched in the face. Okay, you got hurt a little bit. Let's get up, let's get moving, right? That's kind of the mentality of just start moving somewhere, start doing some work. It's okay. But what about the other side? Like every once in a while, you do need to slack off, right? And once in a while you need to check out. You need to sit down. You need to watch a Marvel movie, or you need to go and go for a run, or ride your bike, or go on a hike, or something. So
Whatever,
there is
right?
slack off time. How do you make that feel okay? Right? Like, I guess that's the question. Where's that harmonious balance? Like, is it cool to take some time off? How much is too much time? How much is not enough time?
That's a really good question. I think of Netflix. I think of Netflix, not the many hours, billions of hours of content. If you pray to
Great
God to
one.
move a mountain, don't be surprised when he delivers a shovel. That's hilarious. So I think of Netflix not as the company that provides all of this amazing content, but as the company that basically gives unlimited vacation days, from my
Dude.
understanding. It's like, look, you're a grown adult. You know what needs to get done, but if you need time off, take time off. If you if, I was listening to the fantasy football podcast today, and one of the hosts was like, you know what? Legit, I'm taking mental health day today, like, or tomorrow. Like, I have all this, I've got a bunch of stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm owning that. Right. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's cool. Cause you see it, with Calvin Ridley, you see it with Simone Biles, you see it with, Netflix's policy of take days off when you need days off.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that when we have the opportunity to do that, like, that's huge. It's a privilege that we have, a lot of us, but that's huge, is to just to recognize when you need the time off. The other day I went for an 18-mile run, right?
I
The
love how
other
you
day I
just start
went
that.
I
Yeah,
love
no
it. I
worries,
love it.
no
Yeah.
worries.
No big deal.
Hey, by the
No
way,
big
Joe
deal.
says it's okay to take some time off, but if you rest too long, the weeds will take your garden. And he's
100% true.
absolutely true, dude.
100%
100%
true.
true. All right, so you
So
you you go on
so
this
I went for
18
this
mile
I went
run.
for this crazy long run, right? I'm trying to run a marathon by the end of the year. And after that run, I mean, obviously I was tired, right? But like, I took a moment to just listen to my body, and like, I made food that I wanted, and I stretched, and I did, and I didn't worry about working the rest of that day. I did a few things here and there, some small stuff, but like, I just listened to my body and said, you know what? I just ran 18 miles. I can take the day off. Like, I don't have to push and work and do more, right? Like, I don't have to be a machine. It's okay for me to rest. Like, even freaking God himself rested on the seventh day, right? Let's go back to biblical times. But like, it's okay to rest. Rest is good. Rest is necessary. Rest is productive, even.
You need to
But
make
like
it
Joe
part of your
said,
day.
if you rest too long,
The weeds will take your garden.
the weeds will take your garden.
Yeah. That's true, dude. That's true. Um, and it's funny how when you're in your state of flow, like when you and I get on a groove and we start thinking about our particular problem that we're focusing on, or the campaign that we're going to be working on, whatever it is, and the ideas start flying, that's when time just flies by.
It's true.
Right? That's when
It's true. I didn't even realize it was time for you to leave when you left. I was like, oh shit, really? It's that time already? Damn.
Yeah, like time just goes by. It's enjoyable. You have fun. You can't wait to do it again.
Right.
And that's the funny thing, is you're still doing the work.
Mhm.
Right? So, finding yourself or getting yourself into a flow state for different pieces of work. I've been listening to the Principles book, right? And in there they were talking about, what are the 2 or 3 things that if you did every single day, you would be light years ahead of where you want to go. For me, the one was physical fitness, right? And I feel like, I was telling you, I feel like I got that one down, right? It's part of my routine.
You got it. Yep.
It's my thing, and I've been doing it long enough where it's just who I am. It's part of my core values, right? Well, what's another area that you want to work on? And don't make a huge list, 2 or 3 things. And then what are you doing in those 2 or 3 things that get you to that goal? It's not super difficult. But figuring out what those 2 or 3 things are, if you really narrow them down, those are usually the things that we're most uncomfortable with. Those are the things that lead us to take long slacking off periods. Those are the things that are constantly in your mind, at least in my mind. You know, like that's what we've been doing the last 2 weeks, actually, is we've been reaching out in our database to have conversations. Yeah, I know it's weird. We talk to people every single day. Right?
And all we want to do is talk to more people.
And all we want to do is talk to more people, right? Because that's really where it's at. Talk to any successful person. It's about the relationships. And that is the work that I have to do, right? That is the work that I slack off from. Because like everybody else, when it comes to prospecting, we put it off. But it's the one thing that will make the biggest difference in your life. In my life.
Yes, that part right there. I was gonna say, you know that's like the secret that I'm starting to realize is, how do you say it? Like at higher levels of business, I guess I'll say it that way. At higher levels of business, like a business owner's main job is talking to people. It's less about doing the actual work of whatever the business is. It's more about growing the network and getting more people to fill the funnel.
Joe makes a great point right here. He made a couple great points. But the antidote to prospecting is advertising. Dude, 100%. That's why when James and I are talking, it is speaking one to many. It cannot be speaking one to one. One to one is great, and we love it, right? That's what eventually it comes down to one for some of the stuff that we do just because of our sales process. But the advertising, that's going to catapult the calendar. So I mean that's huge, Joe. Advertising makes a big difference. If you can automate, which is what James loves to do, if you can automate a process and create that funnel all the way through, that marketing dollar can go a long way if we can find the messaging. And I think that's the biggest part for what James and I have been doing these last couple of weeks is testing messaging. What works? What doesn't work? What puts appointments on the board? What doesn't put appointments on the board? What can we figure out that when we figure out what works, how do we apply money to this campaign? And then who are we targeting it to? Like that. I mean, it's A/B testing all the way down the board. And that's what we get to do and have fun and get in a flow state. And we come up with some ridiculously dumb ideas that, to be honest, we might try at sometime in the future. Who knows? But at the time we're like, yeah. And then, we kind of write it down just because it's an idea and we wrote it down, but they're kind of wacky. And then
maybe not. Maybe next time.
But they come out and they're on paper. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're giving things a shot.
Exactly.
All right, one more for Joe. Look at that. It's easier to kiss a girl that's leaning into you than leaning away from you. Applies to business as well. That's true, Joe. Because if she's leaning away, you probably shouldn't be kissing her.
Yep.
But that is funny anyways. All right, man. So we're going to be slacking off a little bit more as we get closer to the holidays. It happens to a lot of people. Oh, wait. That wasn't what I was supposed to say. My bad. Oh, shit. I messed up. My bad. No, but
you're not lying though. As far as the show goes, we are taking a little bit of time off this year because,
because I hit my marker, I hit my goal, my 3-year goal. We're still going to be doing the show, Monday through Friday, but I'm taking off a couple weeks, actually taking off the week of Thanksgiving because my kids are off. So we're going to, hang out, do something, do nothing. Who cares? It's going to be time for
family
that.
time.
It's
time
and then,
to rest.
Yes. Look at Adrian says, y'all deserve that. Y'all been so consistent. Thanks, my brother. Thank you. Happy holidays. So we'll be having a break during Thanksgiving break. If you're listening on the podcast, just audio only, it'll be the week after that, I think, maybe the week and a half after that, because that's where the gap will be. And then we'll take 3 weeks off towards the end of December there, and then come back to the new year kicking booty. But the other businesses are still up and rolling. Man. So if you guys need insurance, you know where to go. Hit up James at Practicing Paulier. If you guys need help with podcast producing, you need help with testimonial videos, you need help with pretty much anything, just reach out. I'd love to either help you out personally or connect you with somebody who possibly can. Other than that, ladies and gents, we're going to cut it short today. Peace.
5 whole minutes.
And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.